found social anxiety disorder. I remember seeing the words. But I just, for some reason thought, oh, I didn't really look into it. But, so I went crying to all these people. I mean, everybody in the office. And I don't remember exactly what Mr. Westbrook said, but he came out of his office because he heard me crying in there and caused all this trouble. And so he came out of his office and met me at the doorway. And my admissions counselor lady I just said was so nice. She came out of her office and met me in the doorway. Mr. Westbrook was one of those kind of guys that just pretty much told you what he thought, which is not what I needed. And it wasn't kind. He's like, here's the problem. You're depressed. You don't come out of your room. You don't have any friends. Now, I'm not quoting him 100% of this because it's been a year. I don't remember exactly. I could quote it for a while there, but I don't really exactly remember. I remember him saying, you're depressed. And I feel like saying, and where's the MD at the end of your name? Because you've diagnosed me here. So where's your MD? Where's your prescription pad? I'm like, I'm not depressed. How do you say that? And I told him that. And he's like, you're socially withdrawn, you don't come out of your room, And I'm like, how do you know that? I don't know how he knew that. And he said people had told him. Of course, that bothered me because I'm thinking, who's talking about me? With SAD, that's one of your, just a nightmare to think people are talking about you behind your back. People give you a weird look and you think, oh my gosh, they're talking about me. So that was a nightmare. So that was pretty much my little great time with him. And then my admissions counselor agreed with him. You do seem kind of depressed. You do have the symptoms. You're emotionally, you are socially withdrawn. You don't have any motivation. That was what he said too. And then when we were in that whole meeting thing, he's like, you're gonna fail. When you go to college, you're gonna fail. And I was like, excuse me? Thanks for the motivational speech. And I didn't say that, but I'm just thinking, he really just said that. He's supposed to be a guy that encourages you, And he's like, you never had a job. You dropped out of college. What makes you think you're gonna succeed this time? He was a jerk. He did not care what kind of impact he made, whether it was positive or negative. Another thing, one of the ladies that she was a big guy and something. I think it was the dorm. The dorm. She had her name was Miss Sullivan. I don't remember everybody's names, and it bothers me that I don't. But these are two people I remember their names. And the lady that worked beside her, she actually showed genuine concern about me. When I came in there crying, she got up out of her seat. This is the kind of lady you think, oh, she doesn't care, just by her tone of voice. She got up out of her seat, came to the counter, and asked me, what's wrong? Stop crying. She actually gave a crap. But Miss Sullivan, I was talking to her one night. See, my pawpaw, one night he, as I'm waiting for this paperwork to go through for my 2 weeks notice, I had to wait 2 weeks before I could get on a plane to go home, which felt like a long time at the time. My pawpaw said that he didn't think he was going to make it through the night. So, of course, my mom was worried because she wanted me there. This is my pawpaw. So I'm worried, And I had to go to a bunch of people to get, to let them know and have them call the people who needed to approve it. Well, they had to call the doctors and all that to to confirm that he was in fact on his deathbed. They wouldn't just say, here's your plane ticket, you can go now. So, as I'm I go up there to talk to her, to Miss Sullivan, in the office, and she was nice about it, you know. She wasn't really, I mean, she wasn't really rude about it, but she was just very strict. She meant business when, you know, she talked to you. And she could be kind, though, but I'm sorry if this video is going to be really long. It takes me a long time to tell the story. But, this happened to have a lot of details in it, actually. But, so we were, you know, calling back and forth. She was trying to get a hold of the doctor for my papa to confirm all this stuff. And so she's talking to me, and she's waiting for my mom to call back. And I'm behind the counter, and she's talking to me. I don't know if it was that or if I was trying to get something signed. I don't really remember if this is when she actually said this. But she said, "Why don't you ever come into your dorm?" Or something like that. It was... And I was like, no, yeah, that was what started it. She's like, "Why don't you ever come out of your dorm?" I was like, "Well, I do come out sometimes," and I did. I even made this little, this wood burning of Christ carrying the cross, which I'm actually pretty proud of. I did trace it. It was traced on there, but I had to wood burn it in there, which was kind of hard. But, I'm pretty proud of that. But I did come out to, you know, to the art and watch movies. They had a little movie theater type thing where they would play DVDs. And I actually got to see the new Harry Potter there, and I'd never seen it. But, I got to see that for free. But, she's like, you know, "Why don't you come out of your dorm?" And I told her I did. You know, I do come out to do certain things. But she said something like, or I said, and then she said, "Well, why do you want to leave?" And I was like, "I just feel like I'm going to rip my hair out." And I didn't say that at the time. I said, I want to pull my hair out strand by strand. And she's like, "Well, if I never came out of my dorm, I don't want to be pulling my hair out in handfuls." And I just like felt like saying, "You just don't understand what it's like for me to leave my dorm, and it's terrifying." And I wanted to tell her that, but at the time I couldn't tell her why. I didn't know why. It was terrifying. But I kept thinking, you know, they told me that I was wrong, and there were these things called peer helpers, these people called peer helpers. They were students that supposedly helped their peers. One of them, who I thought she was kind of funny. I didn't have any problems with her. Couldn't tell you her name, and that bothers me that I couldn't remember her name. But I was in class one day, and I was talking to my skill teacher about leaving. They were talking to me, and they were asking me why I was going to leave and all that. And you'd be surprised how many people talk to me about this and try to convince me to stay. Like, how many times do I need to tell you, I'm finished, I'm not staying, I'm leaving. And I can't wait. And if I stayed, it would just... And I had thought about it. I thought about staying. I was like, maybe I overreacted. But then it would just come right back to, if I stay, I don't know what's going to happen. I actually started Prozac, like, about a week and a half before I left, for my anxiety. I told the lady I had anxiety and I wanted to try Prozac and see if it helped. Well, she said it took about at least 2, 4, 6 weeks to even kick in. Well, one night I poured all the Prozac in my hand and I just looked at it. Like, I could swallow every one of these pills and I could just kill myself right here. And it would just be over. I wouldn't have to be stressed. I wouldn't be upset anymore. It got that bad. I actually really considered it, which I consider suicide sometimes. And I really truly hope that someone that I don't know in person sees this and sees that I said that. And I think everybody, to a point, even people that don't have mental illness, consider that. When you're standing there and you're looking at pills in your hand, I could just throw these back and swallow.